Hi,
Hello,
I'm Kylin,
and I'm Elijah.
and we're going to talk about empathy.
All right, so empathy. What is it exactly? Everyone has heard the word, everyone has seen it, spread around.
It gets tossed around like a salad.
Right, yeah. And who doesn't love salads, But do you really know what's in your salad? Well, today we're going to find out. So, what is empathy?
So, psychologist Martin Hoffman suggests that empathy development occurs in these 3 stages. The first one being global empathy. Infants may cry when they hear another infant cry because they not feel their distress, but they
sense it.
Yeah, and they're exposed to it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, go.
So the second stage is egocentric empathy. So in this one, toddlers start to be able to differentiate themselves from other toddlers, but if they see a toddler in distress, they still don't fully know that what is good for them isn't good for them. Well, what's good for them isn't good for everyone. Mm-hmm. And so they might bring the other student their favorite toy, their favorite blanket. And even though that might calm them down specifically, it won't work for that student.
Yeah. And then the third stage is empathy for another's feelings. And this is children as young as ages 2 to 3 have increasing awareness of others' emotions and different perspectives of needs. So this is where a child realizes somebody is upset, but they also realize whatever comforts themselves is not always going to comfort that next person.
Right.
Yeah. Not everything that comforts you is going to comfort me.
And that's kind of like the beginning of true empathy.
Yeah.
Because when they're too young, their brain seriously can't process that.
Yeah, they don't understand what empathy is. They're just going based off, natural instincts.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? Everyone knows these words. They've heard them 1,000 times, but what is the true technical difference between the two words? So our project was about this video that this woman named Brené Brown did. She is a psychologist. She specializes in vulnerability, courage, shame, and specifically empathy, which is what we're going over today.
Great
obviously.
Woman.
She's amazing.
Really good.
So in her video, she talks about how empathy drives connection and sympathy fuels disconnection. Mm-hmm. So what she means by that is, let's say Kylin failed a class, which would never happen, straight A student. But let's say she fails a class and she comes to me and she's very distraught about it, because no one likes failing. No. And I respond with, man, that really sucks. You're going to have to take that next semester.
Thanks for that. I love that.
How would that make Kylin feel?
Sad, angry.
Right.
I'm never telling you anything again.
Exactly. That doesn't help her with the situation at all.
No.
However, if I was to respond with, I've failed a class too. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
It sucks. I'm sorry.
It's, you feel that more connection of,
right.
I can come to this person and I can talk to them about certain things.
There's something comforting about knowing that person has experienced the same feeling that you're experiencing. You know? That's kind of like when you go online and you see someone anybody else feel this way or whatever, you're like, hey, that's me.
Me too. And they do a poll or whatever.
Right.
Dude, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
And then you connect with all these other people and you're like, wow, I didn't realize, all these other people feel the same way I feel. So.
Right. And without empathy, you would never have felt that.
No.
All right. So 4 qualities of empathy: perspective taking, so being able to see the situation from someone else's point of view. Mm-hmm. You have staying out of judgment, which just means listening to that person's experience without giving your own input.
Just being their ears.
Because that's not what they need at that time. Recognizing emotion in other people, so social awareness. I see Kylin's not really talking to anyone. She's kind of just sitting there by herself. And Kylin's a very talkative person, so it's easy to tell whenever she's, upset.
Down in the slumps.
Right. But if you don't have that empathy, it might be a little bit harder to
express and try to get to connect.
To engage in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the last one is communicating that understanding, which is kind of what we just talked about. Mm-hmm. So sympathy. It is a feeling of pity or sorrow for the distress of another. So sympathy shows pity. It does not show connection. Mm-hmm. So like we were saying earlier with her failing class, me saying, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You know?
like there's no...
Right. She's probably not going to want to talk to me about it again.
Ever again.
Because,
just in general.
Because what is she going to get out of that? You know, like,
Yeah.
there's no comfort there. However, empathy does feel connection. It is feeling with people and not trying to fix their problems.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be there. Sometimes you just need a rant, you know, like sometimes you just need to confide in a friend and tell them what's going on.
Yep.
And it doesn't always have to be bad either.
No,
you know?
it could be like, oh my gosh, I just passed this test. I'm so happy. And it's like, oh my god, me too.
Right.
Like, and then you can enjoy that with each other.
Because I've known that feeling to where I'm stressing about a test. I think I bombed it.
Yeah.
Get it back. It's like an 87. It's like,
You're
holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So like empathy doesn't just have to be about experiencing negative emotions. You can share those positive emotions as well.
Yes.
All right. And educational leadership defines empathy as an ability to understand and share another person's feelings and emotions, to see things from the perspective of another and understand another's point of view.
And then empathy continues to develop throughout
Empathy continues to develop through adolescence.
adolescence. Sorry, that word always gets me. And has been linked to prosocial behaviors such as being more likely to help a victim with cyberbullying. And the most common question we get from educators and parents, and they're like, what can we do to help with the bullying in our environment, in our schools? And the one thing that you can, what helps the most with children is demonstrating the caring, the empathy for others, and, just being there.
The compassion.
Yes. And just, sorry, my brain literally just fried into itself. Anyway, but the compassion and understanding where others are coming from. And, if a kid sees a kid getting bullied, they're more likely to stand up, seeing their adults do the same thing for them.
Right.
If that makes sense.
As educators, we need to be able to model that kind of behavior.
Yes.
For students. It's more than just telling them hey, if someone's being bullied, you got to stop it. You need to show them how you would handle that situation, and you need to help them also understand what it would be like to be bullied yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have
bully
a kid
them and be
then
like, hey,
insult
what's up?
them. Yeah. Little idiot.
Give me your lunch money.
Right. Well, you could give them a hypothetical situation that doesn't involve berating the kid, and still be able to show them how to
control the situation, or go to a higher up and explain what you saw and what you think should happen. Not think should happen, but what you saw happen.
Right. And without giving them the tools to have that empathy to understand what that bullied kid might be going through, they might not even stop it.
Yeah, they might not even care. They might just look the other
way.
Funny,
yeah. All right, so.
And usually bullies don't have empathy.
Yeah.
So if you're a bully, sorry.
Stop bullying.
Now.
So right here it says emotion surpasses cognition. Kind of what we were talking about. Students won't learn when they feel threatened. So
no.
If the kid's anxious all the time, if he doesn't feel accepted by his peers,
or the teacher, or just safe in his environment, he's not going to want to be there.
Right.
And he's going to dissociate and do his own thing.
Like what Dr. Wickard was talking about today, actually, anybody come into class on a really bad day and you don't feel like learning, if a student feels that way, they're not going to be able to focus on whatever you're teaching.
No.
And if you have an environment that doesn't allow for connection, for growth and friendship and just all sort of understanding, those kids aren't going to learn.
No.
The learning will be very ineffective.
Very little. But saying that, teachers serve a very, very big role in kids and how they act. And I'll say teachers have affected me my whole life. Even my professors to this day, still, if they don't seem like they care about me, then why am I going to care about a class? You know what I mean? If they're not interested or care about the subject, why am I going to care about the subject? And I think if you just bring the safety to your classroom, the caringness, is that a word? I don't think so. The compassion. Oh, sorry, that was what I did last time. The compassion and everything else, your kids aren't going to want to be in that environment, and they're not going to feel motivated to learn and involve themselves. But yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thanks.
And empathy.